It's Real Talk TV, Saturday night.
Welcome to this week's edition of It's an Inside Job with my special guest, Chief Executive of Nottingham Castle Trust and also Real Talk TV patron, Sara Blair-Manning. Hi Sarah.
Hello.
Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here, thanks.
So tell us what's going on then, because you've been closed for over a year, you've got your grand opening, 21st of June. What should we expect?
You should expect to be blown away. It looks amazing, amazing. So we're going to be opening the whole of the Ducal Palace site, and we're expecting loads of visitors through the front door. In fact, we're expecting that we're probably going to sell out of tickets for the first couple of months, really,
Wow,
when they go on sale at the end of May. And then there's just loads to do at site for everybody, all members of the family, friends, groups. You can come and just spend the whole day at Nottingham Castle doing some really cool stuff.
So when you say cool stuff, what should people be looking, what are they going to find when they come there?
So if you were going to come with a family group, you would come into the new visitor centre, which is a really lovely building. There's some great things for sale in the shop, all supplied by local artisan makers as well. So we've even got our own gin, even got our own castle gin. It sort of tastes a bit Robin Hoody.
All right.
And then there's a lovely cafe there as well. And you'd be offered things like spotter trails and activity sheets with children if you had young children with you. But then you get the opportunity to go into the Robin Hood adventures, where there's going to be 7 massive audio-visual screens telling the stories of Robin Hood. But then in that gallery as well, you get the opportunity to go and hold some physical longbows but shoot digital arrows into the screen. So there's loads of multimedia things, tabletop games as well. And then up into the Rebellion Gallery, again, some really large audio-visual presentations of the 3 key moments of Nottingham, so Civil War, Luddites and the Reform Act riots, and a bit of history about the castle. And they're just really beautiful spaces now, some really interesting interactives, and you can play cards with the Luddites on a tabletop interactive and just learn how they may have approached sort of wrecking some of the machines in the Luddite Rebellion. So it's not just about reading loads of text. It's not about flicking through books. It's really state of the art.
So it sounds from what you're saying that you've brought Nottingham Castle up to speed on current society's way of kind of reading and gaining knowledge.
I think that we're so much more of a visual society, aren't we now? So everybody's on their iPads or on their phones, and so we've taken that into consideration when we've been developing the different layers of interpretation, because of course loads of different people want loads of different things when they go to a place like Nottingham Castle.
It sounds also that young people who a lot of them aren't particularly interested in history because it's very kind of old hat. This is almost like kind of revitalising history again for youngsters to be able to kind of get a better understanding.
I think it's about people understanding their local history and things that are important, that actually have a connection with what they're doing now. So some of the work that you do in terms of some of the things that you talk about on the show, we are revisiting at Nottingham Castle. So we're having contemporary conversations about why are we talking about a white person painting a picture? Let's find out some more about some art that's actually being done through different communities and talk about those people that have created things and show those in Nottingham Castle. So it's not just always the white privileged view that's coming through. And also consulting with communities about what they want to see within the castle as well.
Bearing in mind you've changed the whole image to a degree because when I was a kid I'd go there and you see these uniforms and from the colonial era and all the rest of it. That actual audience, i.e. from the ethnic communities, didn't really really attend the Nottingham Castle Trust. So surely now you've got this new style, new image, surely the figures will be higher.
But we don't really know until people get into the spaces. So we know that there's great interest in the castle. As I say, we're expecting, hopefully, that we're going to sell, a good amount of tickets before we open. But it's not until people actually come to the property and start telling us and we start watching them and seeing what they're doing and how they're working in the spaces and how they're moving between the spaces and which displays they're looking at the most.
Surely you're not going to get a correct figure because you've got COVID, restrictions on how many people can enter.
Yeah, so we're not anticipating we're going to get 300, 350 this year. We think we can probably scrape around about 140,000. So we're not going to be immediately increasing our visitor numbers. So normally the castle would welcome somewhere between 1,500 to a day. We're currently working on 400 people a day during the week and 600 during the weekends. If Johnson decides that all regulations are scrapped, we won't be putting up those numbers immediately. We're going to run with those numbers and see how the site works with that amount of people in it. We're also going to be encouraging people to wear their masks inside of the buildings as well, not outside, because there's lots of fresh air and space.
Well, for our viewers, 21st of June, big opening. Everyone's excited about it. I am, because I've seen sneaky pictures, but I want to actually physically be there, so look forward to that. But let's just talk a moment about you as a person, because whoever's come on to the show, we've talked about their status, which has been really great, and the great things they're doing. I mean, obviously, you coming on board as a patron for us is fantastic. Where's your passion come from?
Where's my passion come from? So my passion has come from just liking people, really, I suppose. And as we spoke before about when I worked as quite a young child, always being in a situation where I was delivering experiences to people.
How young?
About 9 to
Wow.
11. Yeah. So
Okay.
I started quite young. Yeah. And I would work 6 days a week, and certainly when I was the age of 12, I would be working 6 days a week from about 10 in the morning until probably midnight. And
Yeah, but I mean, a child doing that today, social.
oh, you're not allowed to do it now. Yeah, you're not allowed to do it now. And of course, I was working for my dad.
A bit of a bio on your father.
So my dad is a travelling showman. And worked the Eastern Counties section, so sort of down near the Skegness coast, sort of down around there in Cambridgeshire. Born in Watford, oh yeah, absolutely, and a real Londoner as well. Knows how to handle himself.
One of the things I know that you're driving forward is having a very good diverse workforce, because when you think in terms of museums, colleges, establishments, there's always a disproportion of black and white, Asian. There's always more senior management, but your drive is to make sure that there's a good balance within your workforce. So what sort of initiatives are you running to look at increasing more representation of the BAME black community? So
currently we're sitting at about 24% representation, which is not where I want it to be. I'd like it to be around 35-40%. So if we're not actually physically representing the city within our staff team, then that's wrong, isn't it? I mean, it's just not right.
But we've not mentioned systemic, Sarah, because that's a massive area as well.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
A lot of people who are conditioned in a mindset where they are still saying, well, I don't understand why. Surely racism isn't still around.
No, of course racism is still around, of course it is.
And what's the castle going to be sort of pledging to continue to make sure that equality is prevailed?
So we absolutely pledge that we're going to continue with the type of employment strategy that we've got, that we want to be a staff team that absolutely represents what the city looks like, that it's young, that it's diverse, and that it wants to do things in the right way, and our employment strategy looks like that as well.
Brilliant. So, words of inspiration for our viewers. Obviously, having such a humongous task, and then all of a sudden, if you was to give anybody any motivation or words of inspiration, what would you say to them regarding, if you feel that everything is going against you at the moment? Because obviously that's a big task. The mindset has to be something very, very kind of resilient, is what I'm thinking. So what advice would you give?
Yeah.
And that's to a young person who's possibly
Yeah.
looking at embarking on a new career, studying, whatever.
When I was young, I thought that everything would come really quickly and quite easily, and it doesn't. It takes hard work, and it takes commitment, and it takes you making a mess of it and learning from making mistakes. And it's about understanding that if you can keep doing that, no matter what you're doing, whether you are cleaning, whether you are working in a restaurant, or whether you are a chief executive of something or something else, if you've got integrity and you are keen to do the best job that you can do, you need to continue to do that and do it day in, day out, put one foot in front of the other the whole time. And then when you reflect back a year or 5 years, or in my case 25 years, I can see from the foolish woman that I was when I was 22 to what I know now.
I just thought I'd just drop that in there.
To what I am now, a bit older than that actually, then you can look back and you can say, yeah, I know the places that I learnt, I know the people who helped me as well, and it's about having a good support network around you. The ones that didn't, the ones that stepped on you, the sisters that stepped on you, very regretful for me. Big thing for me about women who don't help women, that's not good. And how you've got to where you are. So it's about being determined, being clear about who you are as a person, what is important to you, and trying to be true to that.
Fantastic. I'm really, really impressed, from all our viewers, I just want to kind of explain that this is what we talk about in terms of Real Talk TV. Real people, real problems, real solutions. Thank you very much, Sarah.